my mom's quite switched on. Like, even though she went from HARGEISA to Saudi, and then from Saudi to do uni in Wales, right, and then moved to London. And my dad's from here, so my dad's English, so that was cool. So when I was like growing up,
Wait, your Hoya is from HARGEISA and your dad is British?
Yeah.
Ayo my people, it's your boy Monti, and yeah man, another episode of Vibe with Monti, and today I got a big guest. I got a big coach. You know me, I like grabbing my coaches, you get me, on this show. So I got another coach, another amazing coach. Broski, introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Mahammed and I. As Monti said, I'm a coach from Somalia, and coach Middlesex FA, schools FA.
Listen, your resume is quite something, because I was looking at your social media and I see you go to conventions, I see you go to all sorts of things, coaching related. I see your Middlesex journey, I see your Hazen situation. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I was like, you know what? And obviously he's one of our people, so I thought, you know what, let me bring you on. Yeah, me embrace you here, get you comfy. Appreciate having you here, I can't lie. But one thing that irritates me, is that another week running where the guest that I have on, their Twitter is dry. You know your Twitter, it's just retweet Twitter.
Yeah, it has to be though, because I work in a school as well, innit? So like, it gets a bit sticky.
I get you, but there's not even like, you know when you research and you put your at and then a keyword, and I see, bare examples. I've had many guests where the example, and you've had your Twitter for years.
I know.
You haven't, this is not new, this is old. And I was scrolling down, bro, like after 4 scrolls, I'm already in 2019, I'm thinking, damn. But one thing that I will bring up is that you're a big Brentford fan.
Yes.
How you enjoying your first season in the Prem?
Love it. You know, it's a bit sticky, you know, with the squad that we got. A lot of injuries and COVID hit us. But like I said, just staying up is what was needed this season, and then we could go again next season. I
can't lie, I want to know football from the other side, innit? Like, as a fan from a lower tier club, then get promoted to the Prem. How was it when you won your game?
Oh man, it was blessed, because so many times we go to the playoff final and we don't do it. So wherever we're in League One or in the Championship playoff final, we don't get over that final hump. I think it was 9 attempts beforehand, always failing, and that was the 10th attempt. We went to the playoff final against Fulham the season beforehand.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then got done by 2 goals at the end. And like I say, like, we never thought that in our wildest dreams that a small club from West London can make it into the Premier League. Especially from when I started watching it when I was in primary school. They used to bump us free tickets because they couldn't fill up the ground. And then seeing it from there, so right at the bottom of the Football League, and then slowly progressing upwards. And then the way that we're doing it, they're not spending money, finding like talent that is discarded.
I heard that you guys closed your academy.
Yeah. So what happens is, because it costs over 3 million to run academy at that level. But what was happening with Brentford was, like, with the new FFFP rules, which is what happens with youth football, that if they could sign, like a big club could come and take your best player and then pay nominal fee, so maybe like 20 grand, 200 grand or whatnot. So then it wasn't really sustainable, because it was like 3 players left Brentford. They went to Man City, they went to United, and then they went to Chelsea. And then it just wasn't like, so therefore, like, we're paying all this money and we're not getting anything out of it. We'll close down the academy, we'll open up a B team, 16 to 19 year olds, and literally just pick up the players that are released from the big clubs and give them the second chance. And then if they play for us, cool. If not, we'll loan them out to a lower league team and make money. So make it, instead of it being an operation where we're spending money on an operation, it's a place that's making money now.
I feel you, because I can't lie, when I initially heard, because I had a few friends back in the years that were playing for the academy, and then when the news came out that Brentford will no longer have an academy and they'll go for this analytical route with the first team and have a sort of B team, like you said.
Yeah.
I was like, that is an interesting model, because I don't know a single team in England that have that sort of, especially at that level as well. Like, every Prem team has an academy, every Championship team has an academy, but then you have Brentford doing their own thing.
But here's the funny thing though. So like, if Brentford end up finishing in a European place in the Premier League, they'll have to rerun an academy, because that's part of the stipulation of being in Europe. If you're in the Europa League or you're in the Champions League,
you have to have a UEFA Youth League.
So that's what they're looking at. So if they get to that stage, then they have to reintroduce it, and then it'll be back to the situation where we're going to be putting all this money into a situation, but we're not going to get anything back of it. But we need to do that so that we can go beyond, rather than just staying as a stationary club.
I feel you. But Brentford is also my local team, innit? So when I heard that they got promoted, I was like, yeah, my local team in the Prem, let's go. I was gassed. But obviously, like, I have the jersey, but I had to. First year in the Prem, my jersey's at home. Like, yeah, I rep it proud. Brentford, that is my local team. What? Before I used to say Fulham on my local team, Chelsea are local. They're not really local, but you get me. You know what I'm saying? But nah, to hear Brentford, but obviously that's my like my sister team. That I want to track their progress, see how they're doing from time to time. I was at the Brentford United game, funny enough.
I was there too.
Where is it?
I was there, yeah.
No way.
Right next to the at the side and right in the corner next to the United fans.
I was in the away end. I was having it, man. I was enjoying myself.
And all the goals were going in at that time, in that second half, and everyone was celebrating. I was like, oh gosh.
Yes. But one thing that I did find though, which I'll put the clip up right there, is you at Middlesex. I think you posted you did actually, I've got it, if I can get it up right here. You posted a tweet where you was talking about, well, let me just read it for you. It was nice yesterday to coach my Middlesex County squad against QPR Academy, control the game, kept the ball, created chances and came back with a well-deserved win. As a result, I've been asked to come down and observe academy training next week. # future manager, # football coach.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me about your experience.
So we got 3 age groups within Middlesex County. So we got an under 14 team, an under 15 team, and an under 16 team.
Actually, before you carry on, for those that don't know, explain the county system, because
So the county system works like this. So all the different boroughs that make up Middlesex, so you got your HARGEISA, Barnet, Enfield, Hillingdon, Hounslow, Brent, Ealing. We picked, so they get nominated by either their club coach or their teachers, right? And then we hold a trial, and then we pick the best, say 18 from all across the area, and then from that we make a squad, and we play against other counties like Essex, Hertfordshire, and whatnot to try to be the best in England.
That's fine. Okay, but now back to your...
So with QPR, it was originally scheduled as an under 16 match. So it was our Middlesex under 16 team against their under 16 team. But then it's coming to the stage where kids or academy players, where they're making the options whether they want to keep them on or release them. So then we got word back from QPR that they were looking for centre-backs and centre midfielders for under 15s. So then I got asked then to bring in some players, but then it had to be players that weren't already at an academy, or if they were at academy, it had to be at the same level as QPR. Otherwise, because there's no point of having a player that's at a better academy than QPR, because they wouldn't be able to sign them, and you wouldn't drop down. So I brought in 4 or 5 players, and I thought they were going to be on the bench and come in the second half. We decided that we thought we'd just put them in straight from the start, and we were bossing the game early doors, and we got 2 quick goals. We were winning 2-0 comfortably, take off the under 15 boys, put back the under 16s, and then it started getting a bit shaky, and then they got a penalty and it came back. But then we brought back the under 15s, came back on again just to see out the game and just play the way that we want to play football, where it's the philosophy that we have as coaches in Middlesex County, where we want to play on the ground, like we want to get on the ball as much as possible. You know about it, like when you're a kid at school, from the end, like you didn't just kick the ball long. Everyone was trying to keep the ball themselves. Everyone was trying to be a dribbler. Everyone was trying to have that 1 and 2 touch, trying to skill draw a guy out. Like everyone wants a highlight reel clip, and that's what we want at Middlesex. We want players that can keep the ball under pressure, and just like really play at a player level of football that's better than what other counties can do to try and help our boys to progress into hopefully academy football.
That's fair. Like, I can't lie, yeah. I remember when I was in secondary school, I think it was year 9, I think I was obviously playing for my local team, and at that point we were doing very well, and then me and like 5 other boys got nominated to go county. So I was playing for county. It was a nice experience, and then at the end I didn't stay on, and then I think someone else even in my own school replaced me or whatnot. But overall, like, my experience in county was like, it was the, you know, when you came into school, knowing that you was a county baller, you was like, that guy's clear, he's gone clear. But nah, I feel you. But I think what is important for today, and I think the people obviously want to know you, they want to get to know you, they want to know a lot more than what they already know of you right now.
Got you.
I want you to tell me about like your origins, like your childhood. How was that? How was your early life? And obviously you can take from there.
Alright, so like born and raised in Greenford, West London. Just like always did, like drilled into us from my parents, do well at school. But so I moved schools quite a bit early doors, and I wasn't into football, didn't know what football was about. And then a mate from the primary school I went to, so I moved to primary schools when I was in year 2, and he was like, yeah, just come play with us, this is football and whatnot. Started playing it with it just to make friends, realised I was quite good at it. Got to the stage when I was in year 4, I was put into the year 5 football team, and when I was in year 5 I was the captain of the year 6 football team, so I was like, okay, cool, I'm pretty decent. And then when I moved into secondary school, I went to a secondary school where I didn't know anyone from primary, so I was like the only one from my primary school that went to the secondary school. And it was just one of those points, where my mum works in school as well, so I used to get into school really, really early, and there was people just playing on the muggers, playing on the concrete football pitches, and they're the older kids, and I used to just draw them out and just call them their rubbish and whatnot, right? Just trying to make a name for myself, because I don't know no one.
Of course.
And then it got to a point where people were like, all right, then if you think you're good, come play with us. And I started playing with the older kids, and then I started doing well. By the
way, when you get getting called up by the elders, that's like an England call up. That's like
and the best bit within our school, so we had like 2 concrete pitches with like a little gate in the middle where people used to just chill in between, and they would eat their lunch. And like obviously like the year 11s would try and claim one pitch, and even if you got there before, and they would just boot your ball off the pitch, and like that's their standard man. And it was just one of those days where I was like in year 8 or so, and it was like the year 10s were playing, and I was like, oh, you're all dead, bro. You lot are dead. And then I was drawing them out, and then I just jumped over the plate, and they're like, nah, if you're going to play, you're going to go in goal. So I'm not going to go in goal. Cool. So I went in goal, caught the ball, and started running it with myself. And they're like, get back in goal. I was like, nah, bro, I'm playing. If I'm here to play, I'm here to play. I started to get a reputation of like playing football and whatnot.
What position?
Centre mid. Centre mid for my age group, but then I started playing for older age groups, playing like right back, left back. So I was just playing near enough.
So you're basically like a James Milner.
Yeah, well, with a bit more tech. A bit more tech. Not got long. No, but it was one of those days where, and then like, I remember when I was my PE teacher, and he was like, we got to nominate 5 of us for district to represent Ealing. And then he put forward us to represent Ealing. I was like, okay, cool, this is a big thing. And we went down to another high school, and it was like this nice grass pitch.
Fam, that is you're giving me
like when you like playing, when you're playing, your high school pitches like waterlogged, and it's like mud everywhere. You come in here and you just see this grass, and just like it looks like a cricket pitch is just nice and short. Okay, cool. But then you're here against like all of the local schools within Ealing that you've been playing against all season, and then everyone's here and their parents are dropping them off. And you're like, okay, cool. Now this is where it gets real. Man, this is where it gets real. And then like I was like, I think at my school, because I was playing the older years, so I was playing right back. I went into the trial thinking like, I ain't gonna play right back, I'm gonna play centre mid. I went there, there was like 5 like centre midfielders from like the other schools, and one was being signed by Chelsea. I was like, all right, cool. Let me go back to right back then. Let me just go back to right back. You know what I mean? I want to make team in it. So. And then I was the only one from my school that made it, so I was like pretty happy with that. And it was like one of those ones when you were like in school, I was quite shy, So everyone was like, oh, who's your top 3 footballers in your year group? And everyone was like, oh, this guy because he's a striker, or this guy because, and they were like, they wouldn't put me in the top 5. Like, they wouldn't put me in the top 2, but I was comfortably in the top 5. I'm looking at them like, but I'm the only one that's playing for the older years and what.
Yeah. I get it, man. It's pride, innit?
Yeah.
I feel like
no one wants to be a defender or anything. Everyone wants to be that guy that gets the goals.
Where do you think I started? I started as an aspiring left winger until I got to Palace, and then the gaffer there was like, brother, you're going left back, you're playing there, you're well suited. I said, oh my days. Like, I promise you, no one started football as a defender unless you was a centre back, because you see centre backs, they were glorified. You know, you had Ramos, you had Nesta, you had Maldi, no, not Maldi, but you had like Yap Stam for the old gen, you had like Terry, Rio, you had all these greats, yeah. And then centre back was like, if you're a tall guy and you like defending, slap your centre back in.
Yeah, it's like, well, you got to look at the English mentality. It's like, if you were tall and willing just to put your head on anything,
and put
or
your body
on the line,
well. Yeah.
Like, you can just boot the ball, like you keep you far away from where you're going to cause the danger. Just
Brexit
boot the ball
football, 4-4-2.
Of course.
It's long balls, man. Look at how Burnley play. Like, what the hell? But nah, like, you know what it is? I think hearing that you're from West, obviously, there's a lot of similarities, you get me, with me as well, hearing what you're saying and stuff. But the one thing that I want to get to know, because I want to know where we differ. Because obviously, I stuck to playing. Obviously, you took down, eventually, later on down the line, a route of coaching.
Yeah.
I want to know where the coaching journey started. But before that, I want to know, did you have conversations with your parents to say, like, Hoya, Abba, Mom, Dad, I'm trying to get into football? What was the conversations with them like? How did they see it?
My mom's quite switched on. Like, even though she went from HARGEISA to Saudi, and then from Saudi to do uni in Wales, right, and then moved to London. And my dad's from here, so my dad's English, so that was cool. So when I was like growing up,
Wait, your Hoya is from HARGEISA and your dad is British?
Yeah.
That's a very that is
it is. And every time I was in school, everyone's asking me, oh, where you from? And I go, oh, I'm half English, half Somali. Everyone's like, why are you lying? I'm like, but why would I lie? It's so outrageous. I know. One of those ones, like,
I can't lie, I'm disappointed, man. The Somali gene is weak as hell, man. Oh my god, fam, the Somali gene is, bro, what is going on? We need to do better, man. What's going on? I swear I'm not joking, I think I went to a wedding one time. And then, you know, when like you see all these random aunties and uncles and all these, so I think my dad must have introduced me to one of them. Say, oh, this is someone that you knew, like, she saw you growing up on. I said, oh yeah, assalamu alaikum, yeah, whatever, cool. She says, oh, here's my son. Her son, yeah, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful for him, but her son, yeah, was like pale, like he looked like Scottish, because the wedding was in Scotland, it was in Glasgow, there.
Yeah.
So, Scottish, pale, you get it. And I said, oh, I didn't know to speak English, Somali, Arabic, which one? So I was thinking, what should I say? It's like, what do I... Hi, how are you? Good? Yeah, nice to meet you. And then she was salaming me and telling me everything. And then I was like, oh, we had a conversation. I said, oh, where's your dad? Pops is right there. I'm not joking. I said, huh? That one? He was a white guy, ginger, proper Scottish. I was like, no way, ginger Scottish, and you turned out like this, and that's your mum. I just find all of it crazy. Like, it's like a moment, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But that's lit, though. That's lit. So before, you know what, I need to the house dynamic. We need to touch on this a little bit before we go into your story.
Go on.
The house dynamic. How was that like as you get me, half Somali, half English boy?
Hoya run the house.
Run the house.
100%. My dad was calm. He was like, right, as long as you're not in trouble and you're doing well in school, that's it. That's calm. I don't need to know nothing. Hoya was one like, what are you doing in school? What are you learning? What is your grades at? Are you messing about in school? Why are you messing around in school? You think you are? All that stuff. Like, she was the general and whatnot. But my dad was just like I said, easy going. So like, I could talk to my dad on a level about football and whatnot. Same with my mum. My mum's kind and stuff. But like, if I got a bad exam grade, let's just say I'm taking the long way home because I don't want Hoya to.
Yeah, of course, man. It's the same.
And it's because of obviously her journey and her background. Obviously, she's went through different countries and she's come and sacrificed a lot to come to this country. Yeah. So she just wants someone. She doesn't want you to be like, oh, you're taking a piss and you're messing about, or you're not getting the grades because you've got literally everything here in this country. Whereas my dad was like, well, you seem like you're a nice guy. You're not going to do anything stupid. Like, I trust you to make your own way.
Yeah. I feel you. So in terms of support for football, who gave you more support? Where did the support come from more? Was it your mum or your dad?
My dad was the one that took me to games, drove me around. Like, he was sporty himself, and he played football himself, so like he could talk to me, like give me advice or whatnot. Whereas my mum just saw it as like a hobby. You know, she just said, okay, you're doing that, all right. Yeah, you're going to school Monday to Friday, you play football on the weekend. Okay, so it's not going to be the main thing for you, but everyone needs to have a hobby. And she thought of it, it's better than being on the street messing around, come from where I was living, rather than, right, you're doing something that you enjoy, but it's not going to go that far.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense. But that is crazy. Was it like, you know, I always hear like a lot of stories, and we will touch on like the coaching stuff, for sure. But this is one thing that fascinates me. It's like the interracial relationships, like they can go either way in it. And it's like, I've heard a lot of success and I've heard a lot of like different stories. And for me, like I always want to know like the dynamic of the house, like was your mom and your dad, like were they always getting along? Was it like the or like were there things, for example, that you're like Somali culture, is your dad now way more clued up than what he was?
Oh, my dad is like, he's funny because he'll start making like Somali food, like he can cook it and whatnot.
No way, that's lit.
Yeah, it's like my dad's quite funny, like he'll like make lahore and everything like this. And like my mum was like, she obviously like when I was me and my brothers and sisters, when we were born, like my mum took a bit of time off work, so my dad was working, so she did all the cooking and whatnot. But then afterwards, like when we got back into school, when we got to school age, mum went back to work, and then my dad just chilled, and then my dad was just started doing everything at home. He did the cooking and whatnot.
That's lit.
Because of like me and my mum and whatnot, we were all at school and stuff, and by the time we got home, it's like, that's when we got dinner and whatnot. And then I did my own thing, rather homework straight away quickly, and then I'm off to football training. I didn't really get to do anything else. It was literally go to school, do homework early. It was our rule in our house that you had to do the homework on the day it was set, so you didn't get in trouble. Do the homework on the day it's set straight away. I did cool.
I can't lie, my mom did that too.
Did that straight away, and then as soon as I'd done that, I did it as quick as possible. Then I was like, all right, cool. Let me go training. Let me do this.
Okay, that's crazy. But I'm sure, like you growing up, you faced a lot more different barriers and difficulties being a half Somali, half British. Like I'm sure, like obviously you hear like the stories that you hear nowadays as a Somali person or as a black person or whatever, but your experiences in society as you were growing up, was it difficult to say, or were there any negative experiences with you being half and half?
The only negative was like once you leave high school, if that makes sense. Because when you're in high school, right, so my secondary school was quite multicultural. So my secondary school, we didn't have many white English people. There was a few, but we had Polish, Lithuanian, Somali.
Of course.
It was Indian, Pakistani, Bangladesh. It was a big mix. 100. But then when you go to uni and you go into jobs and it's something different, then it's where you start seeing the differences, not where you grow up, not where you're at school, but when you kind of leave that area and branch out.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting, you know, because I can't lie. Like, I have a few friends that are like half Somali, but it's normally like, when I hear half Somali, it's normally like half Somali and half like Yemeni, or half Somali and half like Arab, or you know, like North African, or if it's half Somali, it'll be like I've seen a half Somali, half Nigerian before, but like it's just weird that like the dynamic. Like for example, you know, like have you gone back to the motherland?
Not yet. So I was going to go to HARGEISA. This is when I was in sixth form. Okay. But my dad got sick, so I stayed behind to look with my dad and let all the younger kids and my mum go back.
That's totally fair. But
it is on the plan soon.
Inshallah, man. But one thing that I am like, that is seeing, imagine your pops in HARGEISA, man.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
That would be lit.
That would be funny as hell, yeah.
You need to, you know what you need to do? You need to vlog the journey, like keep it documented so you can always show your kids, for example, and you always be like, listen, this is your grandfather, like this is what he's on. You get me? But nah, well, that's actually such a lit tangent that we took. I can't lie. But bringing it back on course, I haven't written here like all these little bullet points that I want to touch on, so we're gonna get through them. Your coaching journey, where did it start? Like, you know how like I had Coach Lau on, I think it was a month and a bit ago, where she was talking about she wasn't into playing, she just wanted to get into football and found coaching as the avenue. I've spoken to other coaches and they've said they didn't, like, for example, they couldn't get into playing, they were playing football, they didn't really make it as a baller, but they thought, you know what, I can make it as a coach. Where does your journey start? Where did it start, should I say?
So, always wanted to be a footballer, just playing ball and whatnot. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to try and play. Didn't care about the level. As long as I got paid for it, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So through playing for the district team, I got invited down to play for Brentford. So we started doing that for a bit. It was in and out of Brentford. And then at around 16 or so, they're like, okay, we're not going to sign you on. I was like, okay, cool, no worries. Went to trial with a non-league team at the under 18 team, but I was 16, because it was a 2-year thing, so they had to pick 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds to that would go in. So 16 that were turning 17 and 17 that were turning 18. Mm-hmm. So you had 2 age groups within that squad. And I was doing well at that club, and I was like, okay, cool. That they progressed me. They asked me to play for the first team. And I remember I went to first team training at 17 for a decent non-league team, semi-pro. It's not that high. I think it'll be like tier 7. So if Premier League's 1, it'd be 7.
Yeah. So it'll be like conference.
Just below that.
Conference South for one of them.
So I was playing. So I got invited to train with the first team, and then the manager. Also, I was playing centre midfield at that time. And I was quite small as a kid, like really small, skinny, and they put a 6'3", big black muscular guy in centre midfield against me. I was like, okay, cool, today's gonna be long, right? And he was like, okay, we're gonna play like a match, like a training match in pre-season, 11 aside, 11 aside, so 11v11, and this guy was literally just there to just like beat the crap out of me, but I kept it simple, pass and move, right? Mm-hmm. And then so the guy never got near me or touched me, or was able to get close to me. And then at the end of that training session, the first team manager comes to me and he goes, I'm gonna bring you back down to the under 18s because you can't handle the physicality of the game. And I looked at him dead in the face, like, what you mean?
How old were you at this point?
17.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what do you mean? He goes, he's like, yeah, you're getting bullied. I'm like, how? And I straight said, I stand up for myself. I'm not shy about it. I was like, how's that this case? He never got close to me to even get me off the ball. By the time he came, the ball was already gone. I moved, right? And he goes, yeah, you're too technical. I need just power in the midfield. I'm like, cool, just say that.
He just wanted that black guy.
Yeah,
can't lie.
Yeah, just say. You know what, right? And this is what annoys me about managers in England or within non-league, like they don't tell it to you straight. All right, if he told me straight up and goes, what I need is I need a tall person in the middle of midfield and a just strong hench guy, just that's gonna bulldoze people. Cool, but don't come on me on some bullshit and say to me that I'm getting bullied and the guy wasn't close. And then the other thing he said to me was, you're too technical for the team. I've never heard that. That's like,
I can't lie. Yeah, I've heard that quite.
It's such a weird comment.
As dumb as it sounds, I've actually heard that, and it's quite common.
It's weird comment. Imagine going to Harvard and Harvard telling someone, goes, you can't be accepted to Harvard. You're too smart.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's proper weird. So I was like, all right, cool. Then at that point, I was like, all right, cool. Screw football. I'm just going to live life, because obviously at that time I wasn't really doing stuff with my mates. I was just literally just training, playing. So the only time I saw my mates was at school. So I was like, okay, cool. Around the A-level time, I was like, okay, I'm just going to screw football over. I'm just going to chill. Went to uni, started playing football.
What uni did you go to?
Westminster. Uni of Westminster. Started playing football there, but I didn't really take it seriously. I was like, okay, cool. I just want to find the enjoyment back. Started playing non-league football again, and I was just like finding a lot of issues with non-league teams and the way that they wanted to play, and that's why you were talking about the racism and whatnot. You said about the issues of being half English, half Somali. At that time, non-league football wasn't really accommodating to those that there were stereotypes. So if you were like a black person, you weren't really trusted to go in goal or in certain positions, right? You were either you're a DM or you're going out wide because you got pace.
Oh my god, right? That you know you've just done. You rung a bell, like when you have like Horrid Henry, Eureka.
Yeah.
Like, that, fam. I was at Oxbridge Football Club. I'm gonna bait them out as well.
Yeah. I hate them too. I hate
Oxbridge, fam. I remember I was with them for like a good few months, and then I just said, nah, like, bun this. I remember, I was at Oxbridge Football Club, and then first of all, the location of their stadium and training ground is horrible. you take the three. It used to be the 350, but they changed it to the U5. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But you take the U5, you get off past Stockley Park. You go through Stockley Park. You get off, and then you walk. And you bust a right, and you think you're walking into the trenches. You think you see a big minicab depot, and you're thinking, where the hell am I going to? Where's the football pitch? You go down this weird little sidewalk, alleyway, whatnot, You get to it, then you see the ground, and it opens up. I got there. I remember the coach was like, I think 50 years old. He was an old coach. I remember that day as well. I brought my cousin from Norway, innit? Brought him down, we done a few drills. I remember there was a Senegalese CDM fam, he looked like Kouyaté. He was a Kouyaté region right in front of me. I said, nah, this brother he's just tall and powerful. He had no tech, horrible tech. Every time he had a bit, like when he touched the ball, it was calm. But the pass was horrible. He could not find a pass. You could be right in front of him, no pass. What happened? I remember he got signed on that day. I remember another boy got signed, and then it was like midfield, innit? A lot of midfielders got signed that time. I remember at the time went in as how old was I? This was after Palace. I think like 16, 17. Yeah, 16, around 16, 17. I was trying to look for a club, innit? Cool. Went there, and then I stayed there for a bit, and then the gaffer said, oh, we're going to sign you, but you're not going to go to the main team. You're going to go to the reserve team, innit? And I looked at him, I said, I didn't take too much from it at the time. I said, cool. I get to the reserve team now. I see all these dead ballers, these nax ballers, tired. Thinking, why am I here, man? And then I look at the first team. I see that tall Kouyaté region playing. I said, nah, this is mess. And their ground as well. Their ground is on a slope. Yeah. It's so their pitch is horrible.
Dead. It's literally like it goes one direction.
Imagine the pitch like this. Nah, man, it's horrible. So I was like, nah, you know what? Yeah,
it's got like even on the slope, even there's like a dip.
Yeah, in the center. I swear, it's horrible. So then I remember I had a chat with the gaffer. And I was like, listen, like I feel like the player that is playing in my position is not that good. I feel like I'm better than him. You can see me in training. It's Nax, innit? Long story short, I remember. I think there was a black goalkeeper that trialed for us, and imagine he had the audacity. He came from QPR. I will never forget this. He was a proper goalkeeper, However, it was literally, to my knowledge, allegedly, it was because he was not the white guy that white goalkeepers, cool. In football, you can trust white goalkeepers. I've never seen a good black goalkeeper before. Edouard Mendy, I can't lie. Black goalkeepers, you had Onana. Then you go back to Dida. You had Kameni at Malaga. It's a very lackluster position for black people. But you see him, he was a top goalkeeper. Top. I don't know how Cooper even released him. I was like, what the hell? Comes to the team. He gets sent to the reserve team. I was like, nah. And the goalkeeper for the main team was a horrible goalkeeper. He's some like 6'1", skinny frame white guy that is decent at catching and stuff. Anyways, I just thought, there's actual stereotyping in like football now. I think at the higher level you go is more on if you're good enough, innit? Yeah. But the lower levels, 100%. Oh my God, if you are white, you are playing in midfield and you're playing as an 8. If you're black, you're a centre back, or you're a winger, or you're a number 9 if you can finish. If you was Asian or any other ethnicity, they're not even going to look at you. That's the worst part. And I'm thinking, this needs to get sorted out, man. Like from top to bottom, there needs to be some sort of like programming. Like players when they get caught, like I don't know, gambling or get caught like drinking or excessive drink, they get courses in it. Education courses. These clubs and gaffers need to get education courses too, because the stuff that I see, and I'm not the only one that's played at like a semi-pro or whatnot level. You can vouch, everyone else can vouch that the levels is horrible with the way they treat ethnic minority players, innit? But that's a whole nother segment for later that we'll touch on. But you can continue.
So I was after that. I was like, oh, I'm done with football. Right, cool. Let me just what am I gonna do? I was at uni doing a course I didn't like. So I was like, okay, cool. I knew I wanted to go into being a PE teacher. So I always knew I wanted to work within sport. But obviously my uni degree was completely different. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me just bump it. Let me just do like coaching, just do it on the side, pick up a bit of money, and just coach little kids or whatnot. So I went to that Hayes and Yedding, and I didn't like the setup. This is like years back. I was like, okay, cool. So then I started doing my own thing, coaching out with kids in Newham, East London. Okay. And I was like, okay, cool. And then from there, I got the necessary experience to then do my qualification to become a PE teacher, because they were like, okay, cool. You don't have a degree in sport, but you've got these years of experience coaching. All right. So you're doing work within, and you're working with schools, in schools, coaching kids as well. Okay, cool. We'll allow you to do this uni course. Did that for a year, where I had to go to 2 schools as a placement, got my qualification, worked, and now I'm a PE teacher. But I always
what type of PE teacher are you though?
I'm the best one there.
Come on, like is it them PE teachers when I get rid of them, we're gonna do
see, this is what I mean, like
we're gonna do another sport, like some cricket and
see, this is what I mean. I'm blessed at the school I'm at now, that I got free reign, so I can pick whatever sport I want to do.
If it's not football, every damn
see, this one. So here's the funny thing, right?
Football, man.
So see, like my key stage 3 classes are like depending on like spacing in it. So I know I'm gonna be outside first, and I'm smart compared to all the other teachers. I picked to go outside on the first half term where it's not too cold. And then when it's cold, I'm inside, so that no kids complain about it being cold and whatnot. So I'm like, maybe I'll do rugby from September to October half term. Okay, and I'll make it say to kids, I'm like, we're doing it now because it's not cold, and level it with you. After half term, it's going to get cold. We're going to be inside doing basketball. So just go with me with this and see the bigger picture. And the kids are, as long as you treat them like an adult and you give them the reason behind your choices, they're not gonna bite back. And so I did like rugby. Then I don't like rugby myself, but we just do it. Then we do basketball. Then I might do badminton. Let's go 2 indoors while it's cold, and then as it's coming into spring, come out, we do football when it's nice in the sun. And my core class is my year 10 and year 11, football the whole year.
You know,
I just literally do the register, let them go outside. You lot organise yourselves in teams.
Yes,
and I said, you got 5 minutes. If you're not doing it, we're just going to go back inside and get changed. Just do it straight up. And then they do it, and then they got to run in total. And then they keep the same teams throughout the whole year, and they're running like it's Champions League.
Of course. That's how we do it. You know what we do, yeah? I don't know how the school you're at would do it. But you see our PE classes are sets, innit? So set 1 to 3 are together, set 4 to 6 are together, and set 6 to 8 are together. You get it? So I was in set 1, so then a few of my boys were in set 2 and 3 in there. So I thought, this is calm. Like, you get me? We got nice competition. Where the most ballers were set 4 to 6. Because I can't lie, a lot of the ballers didn't pay attention in school like that. Yeah. So they weren't top set like that. You get it? Cool. A few of them were, but not all of them. So what we did was, when they had, top set normally takes the Astro pitch, the big Astro pitch. Yeah. And then the middle sets will go do other sports, and the lower sets will do other sports. I remember, I'm not joking, me and like a few of my friends at the time, we went to head of PE, we said, please listen, we want to do a football thing. We want to enjoy PE. This is the one lesson we don't bunk, so let us, we want to actually participate, just reason with us. What do you want? The boys we wrote a certain name, couple names down. Cool, they got elevated to our class, Fam, we did football the whole year. Every time it was PE, and then the best thing about it, was when PE fell after like lunch or before break or lunch or whatever, if it was period 2 and then break, we'll continue
during break.
That half time when we're getting changed we'll get changed, but we'll get changed and then we'll go back to the AstroTurf, continue. If it was period 4, same again. But nah, man, I'm telling you, man, PE in secondary school, it slaps differently.
Yeah. I'm quite conscious like with COVID it's quite changed.
Oh yeah.
I've got instead I used to have just only boys in my class, but now because of COVID they didn't want kids to be moving whatnot, so then they did PE in their form groups. That's the school I'm at right now. So I've got like boys and girls the same form group, take them for PE. So I might have like boys that really want to do something, and then girls might not want to do it, and then there might be girls doing something that they really like, and then boys not. And it's just trying to get that balance. But when it gets to year 10, year 11, I've got only boys, and what we do is me and the other male PE teacher, we combine our classes. So what we do is we combine our classes for like, because it's cold, the girls don't want to go outside in the cold, right? We'll make a deal. We're doing football for a long time. We're going to combine our classes, but it was like a little tournament. So we have a 9-a-side pitch, right? But then you could go across and it'd be like 5-a-side, but it's not that great. So what we do is we've got like 2 classes worth of kids. We've got about 45 to 50 kids. What we do is we make them into like teams of like, we get like 6 teams. But then sometimes, obviously, with the year 11s, when it gets to around that February time, they might get taken in for extra English or extra maths, like things like they're struggling, and so then the classes get smaller. So then we can just go straight into 2 teams. But that's just a different story. But yeah, I did football coaching. I didn't really see it as like I wanted to be a football coach at that point. I just saw it as a way to get into because I needed a job, like, you know what I mean?
Of course.
I need a way to try and make a way in this world.
Of course.
And then so I was like, I wasn't playing football, just did coaching a little bit, got in as soon as I became a PT.
So wait, where was the inspiration to start coaching properly?
This will be after my first year of teaching. Who
gave you that inspiration?
I was talking to kids, actually. I was talking to my, we were talking about, so I had my GCSE class, GCSE PE class, and we were talking about goals, aspirations, what you want to do when you're older. And one of the boys was like, I want to be a footballer and blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, I've lived that life, tried to do that life, it's quite difficult. Then the kid asked me, he goes, "Sir, if I could tell you, you can do anything you want right now, right, what would you say you want to do right now?" I said, I would like to work in football. Like, I would like to work in football. And he goes, "Then why are you not working in football? Like, why don't you not want to work in football?" And I looked at this kid, I was like, to be fair, you're right, you know, like, we talk about as educators, as teachers, we want students to want the best for themselves and to follow what they want to do, find what they're passionate about and to follow it. And this kid was actually telling me the same thing, like, I can't look myself in the eye and say, I'm telling the kids one thing, I'm not doing it myself. So I was like, okay, cool. I started looking at teams locally and whatnot. And then it got to, and I couldn't find anything. And then I waited for job postings to come up at the end of the season for the beginning of next season. And a first team job came available at a low-level semi-pro team, and I was 25 at the time. I was like, okay, cool, let me go and apply for it. Applied for it, had a meeting with the chairman, and he gave it to me on the spot. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now I'm first team manager. Like, I've coached like just 12 and 13-year-olds. I'm 25. I'm going into a group.
Wait, at this point, did you have your FA qualifications?
I had my FA level 1 at the time, yeah.
And you hadn't done your 2?
No, still haven't done my 2 yet.
You still haven't done it?
No, because of COVID, and then they've changed the course now. So they've changed it from FA level 2 to now a UEFA C.
UEFA C, yeah, I heard about that.
So that hasn't rolled out until Easter. They said it's going to roll out, and even then, it's quite hard to get the places because it's not going to be done by county FAs. It's going to be done nationally. So you have to apply, and you've got a competition against other people from the other ends. So I was like, I had my level 1. But I went on that, I went in for that job interview, just basically talking about what I was like as a player, the way I want to play football. And I gave him a detailed explanation of, this is how I'm going to play football. This is the way I want my team to play. This is who's going to play and what not. And then I think the chairman said to me, he was like, we've got a lot of older players, like 30 plus. And then he goes like, there's a big drinking culture in the club. I was like, okay, cool. And in the first training session, and I think I took 10 of them, I told them, don't come back. I told them straight.
No way.
Told 10 players straight up, don't come back.
And like, these players, a lot of them are older than you.
Older than me, and they're looking at me like, who's this guy, the 25-year-old telling me this, what the? But that's the reason why, because I was given objectives. Like, you know when you play Football Manager, you get objectives at the beginning of the season, yeah? You know, you get objectives. Like, you need to hit this place in the league, this way you need to get in the cup, blah, blah, blah. I was hit with a target, go, we want to get out of this league, we want to progress as a club, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. And then when I went to the first time, I took them for pre-season training. These guys were not serious. And I was like, okay, cool. So first of all, you're not serious at trading. You're not serious in the way you're handling your body, right? You're older than me.
The thing is, it is non-league though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was told, like, these lot want to push on, and these lot were like late to training, and these things that would just irritate me and stuff, like, all right, preparation. Like, this is coming back from playing football myself. Like, we always got to training. 10,
you
gotta be at training 10 minutes. So if they said train, like, if they said no, 10 minutes before training starts, you're late. So like, if they said training starts at 7, if you arrive at 6:50, you're late. You're late. You're late. Yeah. Like, you have to be on the grass at 7, not arriving in at 7.
Not even that. I remember my coaching schedule. I said coaching, I am bugging. My training schedule in America, yeah, we have training like, what, 5:30 in the morning? 5:30 means the gaffer blows his whistle. Yeah. We all have to be present, ready, you hear me, like this. 5:30 in the morning in that circle where he does his morning talk, innit? We get to training at 5. You have to be there by 5. If you're a minute past 5, you know what my coach does, yeah? And maybe you should implement this, who knows? My coach, yeah, every minute you're late, you owe him a suicide. So if you're like, what, for every minute it's a suicide. 5 minutes late, 5 suicides. You don't have to complete it all right now, but you have a week expiry date. If you get to a point, yeah, by the end of the week you haven't cleaned your debt, oh my friend, it's gonna get ×2 the next week if you get me. So it adds on, innit? So I remember, I'll never forget, we were told, yeah, training, now this is afternoon training. Normally training in the afternoon is like 2:33, and it depending on the coaches, whatever they want. So I remember this session, training started at 3. He said, you got to be on the grass by 2:30. 2:30, yeah, I remember I got there by 2:45. I was like, oh, I'm 15 minutes late. I am fuming. I'm not even 15 minutes late. I'm with everyone, but the time that my coach wanted me there, I wasn't there, innit? Yeah. I was scared. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to do suicides. 15 suicides. I swear, I said, you know what, yeah? Best thing to do is do like at least 5 to 10 now, and then whatever, just delay it after the week. And I cleared my debt after a few days. I said, nah, I'm never being late ever again. I was making sure I was that first one there. You get me? I was making sure I was the last one to leave. I had to pattern up because the culture over there, I think in the UK, yeah, and I want to hear your thoughts about this as well. In the UK, do you feel like coaches, a lot of coaches get disrespected by players? Because in America, it doesn't matter what level you're playing at, there's discipline. So for example, I remember, like, I played, I don't know, it wasn't serious, but I played for a little summer league team, innit, for a few weeks before I came back to London. When I was playing with them, they were half an hour early every training session. If you were late, but late meaning you're up 25 minutes early or 20 minutes early, that's late in their eyes. You're in the mud, basically. In the UK, you can rock up 5 minutes before training and start putting your boots on, and then when the gaffer doesn't even tell us come to the field, we're already on the field. But here we get told, come or hurry up. Or
I think, well, you're looking at America, most of their sports is professional, if you see what I mean. Like, even if you go back to high school, before even they get to college or university, like, it's a big deal. But it's more, I'll say, for America, if you look at most sports, so like American football, basketball, baseball, it's like high school level, it's big. Then it goes to college level, it's quite big. And then they go to the NFL and whatnot. So they've got that mindset, they got that, the way that they go about it, as it's quite professional. And you'll find the same level of problems with parents at that age group thinking like the way that our parents are, or you see parents on the sidelines with us in football in this country. Like, you'll see parents having goes at coaches and whatnot, or they're having goes at their son, or like, you're not doing this right and whatnot, and trying to override the coach on the sideline. You'll get that in America in basketball, American football and whatnot. The difference being, though, but there's like a whole professional structure, and the way that the coaches are paid over there, as in it's not like a volunteer thing. It's not like it's like a proper job.
If you're a high school coach, you're a full-time
part of that
coach.
school.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's more considered as, it's more laid back as a hobby and whatnot. And then like maybe if you're playing like non-league football here, it's like, oh, you're just doing it for the love of the game. Yeah. Well, it depends on what level of non-league you're at. So like if you're at the top end of non-league, then like
100. But normally the higher level of non-league you go to, that's when you start entering the semi-pro regions and stuff, innit? And then obviously the culture naturally will change because you don't want to get slapped up every week. So of course, but in essence, Sunday league football is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Sunday league.
Sunday league, it's a bit vibes. It's a bit.
It's just like mates coming around having a kickball.
Yeah, you know the ones. But you know what? Yeah, I think it's a great segue to talk about maybe your aspirations in coaching, because. Before we get to that, tell the people your coaching roles right now.
So right now, like I said, I'm head coach of the Middlesex Schools FA under 15s. So we've just finished our season. It was quite a difficult season, and then I'm carrying this squad on to next year. So when they're next year under 16s, I'll be the under 16 coach, and then from there go back down to under 14s and start with a new squad, and then hopefully follow them throughout their time in Middlesex. And then currently right now I'm also now starting a new role, trying to improve the youth and academy structure at Hayes and Yedding, because that's a club that is trying to looks like right now with their first team, they're in first place in the league, so they look like they're going to get promoted to Conference South. So obviously you want to have a youth structure that can support that, or a youth structure that can help bring in players to help push the first team. And currently they do have quite a good under-18s team.
Yeah, I can't lie. Every time we played against, when I was at Waterstone, every time we played against Hayes and Yedding, it was always a good challenge.
So they always get a good under-18s team, because they get people, or they hold trials from other people from around. But they want to now try and have players from in-house that follow them through from under 12s to under 13s all the way up through to first team, and then have that philosophy where we all play this way, matching it with the first team. Every coach is following the same thing, so whether it goes from me then to the next age group up,
it should be
seamless. Seamless. And then you go to those players that got 5-6 years experience of playing this certain way. It'd be better then, especially when you get to conference level, you're starting to pay people money, salary, even like a little transfer fee, even if it's not like, if it's like $1,000 or whatnot, you still pay money for a player. Rather than that, just keep the money to yourself and have it in-house and have the player progression, whereas they know the system inside out. Of course. So right now, I'm helping with them, with their 16s and 18s, trying to help them, because they want to do a full-time program for as a college, but do it on site in the stadium. So they got a nice new stadium, and there's classrooms inside. So they do classroom, and then they do coaching, and then they're gonna go into the National Youth Alliance in the next 2 years, which is against your other conference teams and low level professional teams. So your League 2 teams. And for that, I'm just there helping them out with the education side. For what's the best courses that we can have that are best for the students, and then helping them also with, they've found coaches to lead that program, because I can't do that myself now, because they do their training during the day and they have their matches during the day. I'm teaching at that time, but that's something that they're building up for the next 2 years. But I'm giving them experience through the education side of working as a teacher, but then also working with the Middlesex County FA. I know about structure and what is needed to try and push these kids on to try and hopefully get them signed on to academy football, or maybe first team football at low league level, and then through there, or kind of get them into the first team. They're just trying to find different options working within football and education, and that's what I'm doing right now with them.
You know what it is, yeah? I think for me, one of the greatest things that I've come across since starting the show and since being more active on social media is how many of your own people are doing big things in terms of whether it's coaching, whether it's business, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever industry you can be in. Wallahi, I just find it like refreshing, because when I was growing up, I did not know the only Somali athlete, for example, I could think of when I was growing up was Mohammed Farah.
Yeah.
or it could be coaching. I never saw Somali coach. I never saw anyone that had Somali in them, whether it's through mum or dad or both. I never saw any of that. I never Somali Premier League player. Yeah, cool, we haven't seen that, but I've seen a lot more Somali pros. I've seen a lot more in different countries. So for me to see, like, hear about your journey right now, and even like when I was going through all these things and documenting everything on my notes, well, I was thinking to myself, nah, this is amazing. You know, like seeing your own people do well, because at the end of the day, what I would want to do, for example, is take all this knowledge that we all have now, take it back with us to HARGEISA and build HARGEISA from wherever it's at now to a higher place, for example. So I think that is really, really good, mashallah.